Atlantic hurricane season runs from June through November, and this year was forecast to be one of the busiest on record. So far, we've been through 2 named storms while living aboard, and we now brace for another 2 back-to-back major hurricanes as they make landfall on the Florida Peninsula. We are Paige and Daniel, traveling with our Great Dane Winston on our 38-foot catamaran to see what lies beyond the horizon. Big thanks to those who support our adventures on Patreon, especially our awesome patrons. Go to patreon.com to find out how you can become an awesome patron.
This is
This is our 3rd tropical storm or hurricane or something that we're riding out in the marina here.
This is Hurricane Helene.
Mm-hmm.
We are anticipating her visit in the middle of the night. So we have done all the hurricane prep stuff. You guys can actually check out that hurricane prep video where we
Link
prepped.
in the description below.
Yes, we prepped for the entire season, basically.
Yeah.
And so we're just kind of hunkered down. There are some concerns, and there are some things that are just not a big concern to us.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about the not a concern. The wind, we should be gusting in the 60s, is what we're anticipating.
Yeah, that's what predict wind, and a couple of the models say in the 60s, but we're from
sustained 30s.
Yeah, sustained 30s, gusting 60s, but I mean, from the direction it's going to be coming over the lane.
Exactly. That's why it's not really too much of a concern for us. It's going to basically be clocking from the land and then over the other portion of the land, more on the water side. But by the time it gets over there, it's actually a lot less wind.
Mm-hmm.
So another good thing is that she's a fast-moving storm. So we're expecting this to blow through fairly quickly, and by the morning it'll be
basically all blown out, and by tomorrow afternoon it's going to be sunny skies and 90 degrees.
Yes. So the other concern we have is the storm surge.
Well, it's really a non-concern.
It's a non-concern. The height of the storm, so when it's going to be the heaviest wind, is going to be coming through during low tide.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and again, with the wind coming over the land, it's not really going to build anything into here.
Right. So storm surge is not a concern right now. Okay, so what is a concern?
It's our standing rigging.
About a week ago, we were able to get a rigging inspection.
A long time waiting rigging inspection.
Yes. We had some concerns about cracks in the bolts, the T-bolts that attach to the rigging.
Yeah, and those were fine. There's no concern there.
No concern. Those are actually just machining marks. Look at him! Anyways, Winston, he wants attention and love.
He does. So there was no issue with the T-bolts. However, when they started doing a deeper inspection where the wires actually get crimped onto the metal pieces, there was problems there.
There are concerns. And so it is recommended that we replace our rigging.
Yes.
So that's the update there. We're going to do a full rigging replacement.
Yes, but on top of that,
yes,
when they were doing all the checks and everything, they found that our standing rigging was extraordinarily loose. Like half to a third of the recommended spec.
Right.
So when we talked to the rigger, we're like, hey, we got this storm coming through. Should we tighten down our rigging? And he's like, yeah, you probably want to do that.
Yeah, do at least 2 or 3 turns.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think the turnbuckles may have been a little bit seized.
Oh, we have to take a break for Winston.
Yeah.
Playtime break.
Yeah.
Where were we?
We were talking about tightening our standing rigging. So I went out there with the tools to get it done, and I couldn't get the turnbuckles to budge.
Yeah, they've seized up. It was just...
Yeah, I didn't want to, and I didn't want to put any more undue stress on than...
because they are cracked. Our biggest concern this evening is our mast falling down.
Yeah. But the mast plate where the mast attaches to the boat is in great shape.
It is!
And it's really one of the wires is in really bad shape. The other 3 are in,
They're not terrible.
They're not terrible. 4 to 5 out of 10. One of them is like 2 out of 10. We took our halyards, our spare halyards, and we put them on the boat and tightened them down just to give a little bit extra support if needed. We've gone through storms with this level of wind before.
And we just didn't know. Ignorance was bliss.
Yeah, it was.
So right now it's about a little after 5 o'clock, and we're just kind of sitting around waiting for the weather to get here. Honestly, this is a lot calmer already than we were anticipating. It's right now it's about 10 to 15. We're gusting into the 20 knots right now. So it's not real crazy. It's actually supposed to be like 3 times that right now. So I think it just goes to show what a difference the wind coming from over the land is making. Like, it's just massive. It cuts everything down substantially. We're not feeling any fetch because we're docked so close to land. So we don't have any of the wave action that we would anticipate if we were out on anchor. It goes to show you that it's good to get a good place when you're riding on a storm. So it appears that we are in a holding pattern, and the HRR weather model has said that the weather won't be as bad right now as it was originally predicted. So that's why we're seeing, 10 knots of wind. And so hopefully it'll be less later tonight. I don't know, we'll see. But we're gonna have super heavy winds as predicted for tonight at around 2 a.m. We're gonna be like hobbits and have our first dinner and probably have a second dinner later in an effort to stay up through the heavy bits of it all. So, charcuterie, my fave.
And wine. Can't have charcuterie without wine, right?
Hey, 31. What's the weather like on Rise?
Five.
26. 26. It's just a fraction of what we're expecting at 2 a.m.
Yep. Yep.
So we just heard a big thump when a gust of wind came about. So Daniel and I had to go outside and investigate a little bit. We couldn't see anything. Everything looked just fine. And this is just the beginning. So, I mean, we're expecting, that was gust in the 30s. We're expecting gust in the 60s. Oh, guys, this feels like nothing. This feels like so much anxiety is built up in your head, like it's going to be terrible, but I'm like, on my logical side, it's like, no, everything's going to be just fine. And it's still like worst case scenario that cycles through and through your head, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's, for what all the models say we should be seeing, we should be seeing sustained winds in the 30s and gusts 40 plus. And we have sustained winds in the mid-teens and then gusts to 30. So we're doing okay. We're doing okay. But there's always still that in the back of the head. It's like, well, we should be seeing this, and we're still not near to where the max is going to be yet. So it's going to be a long night.
What happened?
I don't know.
Maybe we had like a power surge or something because our inverter just overloaded. So looks like there's still power at the dock.
Yeah.
We're still pulling power from the grid,
Yep.
which means the shore power. Interesting.
You got me. I have no idea. I don't know.
I'm currently getting ready to go live. We're wanting to go live on YouTube, which should be really cool, right? But I don't know if the Starlink and our reception is going to work during the storm, so we'll see. We're live.
Oh.
Oh my God, look
Yeah.
at that. Okay. Oh, Harry says, when is the worst of it due to hit? Great question.
Between now and 3 a.m.
No, eventually I will fall asleep. I turn into a pumpkin usually after 10 p.m.
Yeah.
Well, power's now getting kind of sketchy. We lost power there at the pedestal, but it's come back on. So looks like it's gonna be hit and miss for the next while.
So our inverter just went off again.
Do not hear the words.
It must be, just power surges coming through the grid. I don't know. This is not something that regularly happens. So that's all I'm left to understand.
Yeah, it's fine. Everything's fine, really. We're gusting right now in the mid to high 30 knot range, and sustained in the 20s. But we're gonna just keep dialing it up until about 2 o'clock. So we got another couple of hours to go.
We are suffering intermittent power losses. On again, off again, on again, off again. But that's to be expected. It's the height of the storm winds right now, so So it's just flickering for seconds, but it's enough to trip the air conditioner, which is a real pain in the butt.
What's really funny is that like Winston is so chill through all of this. I mean, check this out. He cannot be bothered. He is not concerned. But I also think that he's super chill because we're pretty chill. We're not, there's nothing really to do but just wait. And I think we're coming up on the height of it. 2 o'clock, 2 a.m. is supposed to be when it was the worst. We're supposed to be seeing gusts up to 60 knots or more. And we're not seeing that. Right now, our gusts are getting up to 40 knots. But that's it. If this is the worst we get, great. If there's more to be seen, we will let you know. We don't have any lights outside.
Power's off. And inverter overload.
Oh, but the lights are back on.
Lights back on now. See, that's what I'm talking about. And it's just ugh. Ugh.
This has been fun. I fell asleep for about an hour. Yeah. I wake up and we're down in the teens and we're still gusting up to 30. But
it's low 30s.
Yeah, I think we're coming out of that high bit. So
we're on the downward slope.
yes, and I think I can comfortably go to bed.
I think I'm going to finish this next episode of Star Trek and then go to bed.
Oh, he's watching one of the best ones too, Darmok and Jalad.
I'll go.
Yeah, it's one of our faves. But I am so exhausted, and yeah, we'll go to bed.
I'm gonna finish this last episode. Still coming down from all that anxiety, so
Okay.
wait until I can't keep my eyeballs open anymore.
Okay.
Well, that's it. Hurricane number 3 on the boat.
Yeah.
Kind of done-ish. I mean.
We'll let you know if anything changes.
So the aftermath for us of Hurricane Helene was nothing. That does not mean that it was not something for a ton of people, and it breaks our heart to see everyone that's going through that right now. It is unimaginable.
And our hearts go out to everyone affected by Hurricane Helene.
Yeah, it is heartbreaking to see towns swept away, and we are looking now at another hurricane.
Yes, Hurricane Milton
Yeah.
is, 48 hours away.
Yeah, it is bearing down on western Florida.
Currently a hurricane, Category 5.
Yeah.
And we're expecting it to make landfall as a Category 3 on the Gulf side of Florida.
Yep.
We are on the east coast of Florida, so it'll probably be about a Category 1 by the time it gets anywhere close to us.
Yeah, we should see Category 1 hurricane force winds coming from the north, which is not...
It'll be fine.
It'll be fine. It's not the best direction for it to come from. Frankly, Hurricane Helene had the best wind direction for it to come from, but...
In our situation.
But the north is not bad. We just got one more hurricane to ride out.
Hopefully, it'll be the last one for the season.
Hopefully.
We are expecting Milton tonight. It is now, today is Wednesday morning, and we are expecting Milton to come in Thursday night, or Thursday early morning. When you're riding out a hurricane, it's all about your location. We are deciding to stay in the marina. We're at a dock, and the same location that we were in Hurricane Helene. The biggest difference with Hurricane Helene is that the winds came from the east over the land for Hurricane Helene. Now, Hurricane Milton, we're expecting the winds to come from the northeast to north. So it'll be kind of in that area. So we'll be experiencing a little bit different direction of wind. So we're going to also experience some storm surge during this hurricane.
So yeah, with Helene, somehow we didn't experience any storm surge. Maybe the winds were lighter, but looking at the winds that we're expecting from Milton, Helene actually had some stronger winds for our area. So I don't know how this storm surge modeling actually is supposed to go. But they say we can expect somewhere from a 3 to 5 foot storm surge. I've heard 1 to 3 foot storm surge, and nobody really knows. But the problem is that the storm surge expected is going to be coming at high tide this time. So when we're up high, and there's a pretty good tidal range here, it's 6 to 7 feet. When we're up on high tide, there's probably about 8 or 9 feet left on the pillars that hold the dock in place. So if we get a significant storm surge at high tide, it could be problematic. With that being said, the marina is going to cut off power here in probably about an hour or so because of the potential storm surge, which is super annoying.
It makes sense that they're cutting off power because they want to protect their investments. You know, they want to make sure that everything is tucked away and safe. It's just part of hurricane prep. When you're expecting a excuse me, when we're expecting a storm surge like this,
they are taking all necessary precautions to protect their assets, which we do too. We take all necessary precautions to protect our assets. We're just going to hang out here. So power will go off today. Today is Wednesday, and we are hoping, fingers crossed, power will come back on Friday. But we have a very deep battery bank, and we have a generator, but probably not going to be running the air conditioning. So it's going to get warm.
all right, so right now we are trying to make some decisions about where we want to park the car. Right now, our car is in the parking lot that is next to the marina, and if we're expecting a 3 to 6 foot storm surge, that
puts the
parking
car
lot
about 3 to
would
6
be
feet underwater.
So, where do we park?
You know, it's an island, so there's not a ton of elevation here. There are some spots that are higher, kind of more in the island. You can definitely see that there's a slope to the island going towards the water and towards the marina. So, just gotta find a good spot.
We were really wanting to park in the Hampton parking lot, but that's full, and they don't want anybody who's not staying in the Hampton parking in the Hampton parking lot, which makes sense. It's because like the Hampton parking lot is like elevated well above everything else in this area. Where someone suggested the city parking lot, and it is not much better than we are right now. Maybe
It's definitely better. Yeah.
It is better. It's definitely not a 3 to 6 foot storm surge good enough, but also the thing is that that 6 foot storm surge is probably on the outside of the coast, and not necessarily like because we're on the interior. We're not really on the coast. We're more on like the bay side.
Yeah. What that storm surge translates into whenever it gets to us, who knows? 1 to 3 feet, maybe. You know. So
We'll see.
Yeah.
We really have no idea. And we're also learning that every storm is different. So every hurricane that we're in, it has its nuances and the different experience, even though we're in the same place.
yeah,
So
quirky little things.
they
There.
are. New thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, the crown of the marina parking lot seems just as high as the municipal lot over there, if not a little higher, just looking at it. I mean, I feel like we're equidistant from them, and like where that white pickup truck is, seems like a really high spot. Ugh.
I think the white truck is higher.
Yeah, I think it's higher. I might be a little bit closer, but I'm pretty sure it's higher.
The thing is that if we have a 6 foot storm surge, any place we put it's probably going to be underwater. It's just the fact about living on an island that is flat.
We spoke to one of the city employees and asked them kind of what they're doing with their vehicles, and they're going to basically put them in the city hall lot behind the building. But he was saying that it shouldn't get terribly high, but of course the further inland we go, the better it's going to be. So maybe our original plan of putting it up a few blocks that away might be the best plan. Well, I don't particularly like that, so maybe street parking up in this area would probably be better, because that'd be the last thing I want. Oh, that looks like a good lot. Let's try that one. Park away from the trees as much as we can, I guess. Yeah, this spot right here looks pretty tasty. So yeah, this is a public lot here on Ash and 4th Street, right here next to this cigar bar. Looks like a really, really nice cigar bar. So if you're into cigars, come to Fernandina and check it out. I don't think we're losing much by parking here versus parking up at La Serena. I mean, you know, if we get 6 feet, I don't even think that up there is really going to do anything, but I don't think we're going to get 6 feet. We'll just cross our fingers now and keep on keeping on. So what's really interesting, and it's just kind of cool to look at, a cold front came through, so it's kind of hanging out just south of Jacksonville, and that's keeping the hurricane south in Florida, but it's also causing like all the rain that's pushing up towards us from the south to just evaporate before it even gets here. And then there's also a high pressure system, northeast of Greensboro and northwest of Cape Girardeau, Missouri, which are also influencing the storm to continue its southeasterly and easterly movement. It's just really kind of cool how all these systems just sort of play together and affect each other. So everything seems to be kind of working in our favor thus far. I'm not going to count chickens. So we were taking a little stroll down Main Street here in Fernandina, just looking at what everyone's doing. Sandbags and plastic bags, and everyone's doing their hurricane prep.
Looks like everyone is preparing for the storm surge. So I'm surprised to be so far away from the marina and their bags like stacked up really high. So now you can tell people aren't really worried about the wind because the windows are not boarded up. If windows were boarded up, then we'd be concerned about wind.
Yeah, it's gonna be more of a storm surge-y event instead of a wind event.
Right. The gust of wind should be get up to about 40 knots, which is a lot if you're out sailing in it, but if you're on land or you're at the dock, it's not too bad. Yeah. It's a lot of wind, but it's not too bad.
Not the best sandbagging job I've ever seen, so.
It's okay, we're not here to insult people.
Well, I'm just saying that if you're gonna do sandbags, you need to do them right.
God. On a separate note completely, we have new shirts.
Yes, we do.
Yes! Oh, there we go. BDG Adventures. We got t-shirts. We are donning our new t-shirts. Yeah, we typically give like our patrons some nice things every now and then. So if you want to get some cool swag, you can hit up our Patreon. We are actually heading out for some late lunch, early dinner, and to take a look at the town and see how people are preparing. We have the sandbags, and some businesses have closed early due to the weather, anticipated weather. So I don't blame them at all, guys. Like, I think that it's important for people to be able to get home and take care of their home and their family. We don't necessarily have to keep people out just because we want to go out. Yeah. But we called ahead, made sure that this place was going to be open before we actually show up.
It's starting to rain a little bit.
It is. That's why we brought our rain jackets.
Our dry bags.
And a dry bag.
Oh yeah.
We have enjoyed a delicious bite, and now we are going to venture back to the boat. And of course it's raining, and we are all bundled up, ready to go. You ready, love?
Oh, I guess so.
Not very flattering. Let's go. Thank you.
No problem. Have a great night.
As always, it was delicious.
Thank you.
We're gonna get a drink at the saloon.
We're gonna go get a drinky drink at the saloon before we go home. Let's see if we can get a drink. There we go, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah. Open or close? Hello, Winston. Hello, Winston. Thank you. We have a long night ahead of us. It is going to be about 2 a.m. when we actually are at high tide, and so we will probably be very alert around midnight, 1 o'clock, and 2 a.m. All right, it's now the next morning. This is Thursday morning. We should We have gusting 40-ish knots, so, you know, it's a lovely day to be at a marina. It was a somewhat restless evening, you know. We did go to bed, but slept a few hours here and there. Woke up around 1:30, 2 o'clock, just to kind of keep an eye on the dock, since that was the anticipated height of the storm surge. But we had plenty of room left on the pillars, so that was not a problem at all. We'll have another concern again around 2 p.m. today, which is when high tide us. And so expecting the storm surge to have a greater effect on us, if it does at all. So. Blue skies. To wrap up Hurricane Milton.
At least for us.
I know. I feel like we've really lucked out.
Mm-hmm.
We're in a fabulous position for a lot of hurricanes this season, but we've also lucked out a bit.
Yes.
We had the storm surge that we were anticipating ended up not being much of a storm surge at all.
I witched it.
Yes.
Yes.
Get this up. So it ended up not being a storm surge at all.
Yeah,
really, for us.
nothing-
So it wasn't
yeah.
a problem.
Yeah, there was no problem. The wind, I don't even think got. We didn't even turn on the instruments. That's how much
Yeah.
of a nothing burger it was for us.
Yeah, it was not big for us. We actually slept through the night, which I think I said earlier.
Yeah.
So it's just, I think that is, you know, the important thing is finding a good place during hurricane season, sprinkled in with a little bit of luck, because, you know, getting a direct hit where we are at a category 5.
Oh, yeah, there would be nothing left.
Yeah, we would be evacuating for sure.
Yeah.
But what we were expecting this season, what we got, I think it was a good situation.
We're not out of the hurricane season yet, so who knows what's going to cook up one more time. But so far, so good.
Maybe I'm putting all my eggs in one basket, but I think this is it.
Go ahead,
Thanks.
like and subscribe to join us in our next adventure.